Have you ever wondered, what is wrong with me? I'm a catch. Why is nobody choosing me? Why is nobody asking me out? There must be something wrong with the world. There must be something wrong with all the guys out there, all the girls out there, because I'm amazing and all these people out there are blind, okay? Today we're talking about what is wrong with you. Truly, is there something wrong with you? We are going to dive in and reveal maybe some blind spots that you maybe have never considered before. We're going to get real and honest and talk about the top 3 blind spots for men and the top 3 blind spots for women. So buckle up. Let's get into it. Today, we're teaching a workshop. It's called What's Wrong With Me? I'm a Catch. Have you ever said that, JJ?
I've definitely said the first part a lot, and I think I have thought the second part. Maybe wrongly.
Why
maybe
haven't
rightly.
I got married by now? I'm a catch. What's going on?
Have you said it? Did you say that a lot?
Definitely, because I got married in my 30s. Absolutely. When everyone else is getting married around me, I'm like, yeah, what's going on here? Yeah,
it's funny. I mean, we always assume the best of ourselves. Like, I'm a catch. What's the problem going on here? Because it's definitely not me. Is that always true, though?
Is it? I don't know. Hey, really quick in the chat, we want you guys to be engaged. So send us where you're from. And send us where you're from and maybe your spirit animal. How about that?
Yeah. What's yours?
My spirit animal is a snow leopard.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
That's my favorite.
Why?
Because they're mysterious, they're beautiful, they're unique, they're rare.
Is that supposed to be you?
That's me. What about you, JJ?
Mine's probably a raccoon.
Yours is a raccoon. You guys in the chat. There we go. New Jersey, a sloth. I love sleeping. I love it.
What we love about this and what we love about this workshop is our favorite definition of humility is a right-sized view of myself. Not inflated, not deflated, a just perfectly accurate, objective view of myself.
Yeah.
Right? But the problem is sometimes, I don't know, you tell me, we have a little bit of a inflated view of ourselves, or we might be on the other end of the spectrum and be a little deflated. We have like a lack of self-worth.
Yeah, totally. You know, we teach this little line that I'm about to say in School of Dating. So some of you here have heard it, but let me just ask for the class. Has anyone ever said, why is it that the people I don't like are the ones who like me, but the ones I do like aren't the ones that are ever interested in me?
What's the problem?
In the chat, has anybody ever said that before?
I'm a catch.
Okay.
How come these people don't like me back?
Yeah. All of that. Yes, Diana. Okay. So all of this is a real and valid frustrations, but sometimes there's a bigger question behind why we're asking what's wrong with me. I'm a catch. Okay. Could there be something that you guys aren't actually seeing? So this workshop is not about shaming you. It's instead about equipping you with self-awareness, because that, my friends, is a very sexy quality. Having self-awareness and healing, that is a very attractive quality. That is kingdom maturity.
Yeah, I would just say here, it's like, in Proverbs, one of the key themes we see a lot is the wise are open to correction. The wise are open to feedback. The wise are open to counsel, okay? So I would say in general, if you're brave enough to be here at a workshop and potentially, working on yourself, then you're brave enough to grow.
Yeah.
And then you're also brave enough to admit what you're doing well and maybe what you're not doing well, right?
Yes.
And, maybe, I don't know, maybe your list says like you want someone who's emotionally mature, but let's be real. Are you entirely emotionally mature enough for the person that you're even praying for, right? I think what's really hard is sometimes it's difficult to get a really objective look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why we have friends in discipleship is for our blind spots.
Yes.
I think that's one of the most difficult things. Like for me, as an example, like I always thought I was emotionally healthy. And it wasn't until I got married and I had feedback in a mirror where I my core was really drawn out, that I could see that maybe I was not as emotionally healthy as I thought I was. And then I really see, not only is it, I'm not kind of emotionally healthy, I'm really emotionally unhealthy in a lot of ways. What's hard about singleness is because we don't really go deep We don't really get really intimate with friends and truly, truly vulnerable and show them everything and stick around when it gets hard. Well, we don't really have the opportunity to get that feedback. One of my favorite stories as of late is we know two pairs of friends. They are best friends, like soulmate friends. And like all friends, after hanging out for quite a while, they discovered that they both had blind spots. For example, one of them always drove everywhere. They go out every weekend and one of them would always drive. It wasn't even offered that friend one could drive and maybe, serve the other.
Assume the other friend would drive.
So friend two said, hey, I'm not going to overlook this. I'm not going to minimize this. This bothers me. And as a friend, I'm going to give you some feedback. So she asked for permission and said, hey, do you mind if I give you some feedback? She said, sure. She said, I love you and I know you love me. Sometimes it feels like I'm the only one maybe volunteering and serving and paying for that kind of feedback. And because the other friend knew that she loved her and this wasn't a criticism, she could welcome the feedback. Okay. And what I call this is accountability versus editability. Okay. Accountability is like, I'll kind of open up, you kind of maybe give me some feedback. Editability is like, hey, I'm giving you a red pen for you to go into my life and circle what you think is a feedback and a blind spot that I need to change in order to grow.
That's so good, JJ.
Thank you. I copied it from Will Chung. So I wish I was cool enough
Our friend
to
Pastor
take the credit
Will.
there, but Pastor Will Chung, California, shout out. So, but that's what is definitely missing. I don't know about you in singleness, but that was missing in my singleness to a large degree. My friends couldn't really be deeply, deeply honest, nor was I really asking.
That's true. So we're going to highlight some potential blind spots for you guys to just consider. So we have two different parts: blind spots for the guys and blind spots for the girls. And then we're going to break out into small groups and do some workshopping with you guys.
Yeah. And these might apply if you're a guy, the girl stuff might apply to you and vice versa. But this is what we see as a stereotype. Okay.
Yes.
So number one for the guys, all right, a potential, not saying you have it, but it's very possible. Blind spot that you have. Number one, you are waiting and passivity for the one. Okay. And what we really mean by this is we kind of say, I'm waiting for the one, and really can just be a mask, right? It can be a mask. A lot of people and a lot of guys and women romanticize waiting on God, but really we're kind of just using it at this as this spiritual sounding excuse to avoid a few things. It could be risk. It could be rejection. It could be responsibility. Like a lot of men specifically hope for a relationship to just happen without actively pursuing or communicating their intentions.
Yeah.
They just kind of are trotting, floating along, saying it'll happen when it happens, when at least expect it. Like, my, uncle told me at church. But no. Faith includes action. Okay.
Amen.
Let me say it like this. God doesn't steer a parked car. If you're asking God for directions and help and your car's just parked, that's not going to go anywhere. Or more importantly, I think sometimes we're on neutral and we're kind of coasting just wherever the gradient of life takes us. Okay. Faith includes action and participation. And that's what God invites us to. I would say second to that, a lot of times we're not really growing in our life because growth comes through action, failure, and learning along the way. And our pendulum has swung so much in the passivity, which is our Achilles heel as men, that we're like, hey, passivity and not really hurting anybody and making a mistake is way better than making 10 actions and 7 of them are wrong, 3 of them were right. God calls us to participate. Okay. And as men, I think one of the biggest traps and the cultural traps and enemy traps is to convince men that doing nothing is better than acting.
Yeah.
Because you might mess up, you might get rejected. Some guy that you grew up was unhealthy in action. So that kind of ambitious, godly desire to move and take action is just like a furnace that goes cold. And so that's where I'd say the pendulum is like perfect action, proaction, moving forward through some failure, by the way. And putting yourself out there. Like that's a good thing for guys to experience. The second thing, a common blind spot for men that you hear a lot is, I want a Proverbs 31 woman. Okay. I can't tell you how many times I heard, I want a Proverbs 31 woman. And then all the while.
Anybody in the chat, have you heard a guy say that? Or guys, have you said that?
I've heard so many guys say that. I'm like, that's great. And then meanwhile, you look at the guy and they're neglecting their own personal godliness and sanctification. Like they want this, they want that, they want this. Like they're desiring a godly woman without cultivating their own spiritual growth. That's hypocrisy. I'm like, if a Proverbs 31 woman was really in the room right now and she knew you and she knew what's going on underneath the hood and your habits and how you're living your life, she wouldn't want you. She really wouldn't. And so what's the version of a Proverbs 31 man? I mean, Proverbs is full of what it looks like to be a godly man. And we just somehow fixate on the Proverbs 31 woman, right? Okay, number one, he pursues God above all. He's actively growing, okay? And what I really mean by this is you're either growing or you're dying. Like it is really that black or white. You're either growing or you're choking, you're surviving, you are suffocating, okay? So he's actively growing. And if it's like if I ask you that, are you growing or are you dying? And it's unclear, then you're probably suffocating and dying, okay? So you're actively growing in spiritual maturity through prayer, scripture, and most importantly, I'd say community, right? Like I can ask 1, 2, 3 guys in your life, like, hey, if you had a daughter, would you let JJ right here marry your daughter? And if they're like, I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? Why are they not? Absolutely. Man, I would be so blessed. And here's the issue. A Proverbs 31 man or a Proverbs man doesn't chase an image of manliness or whatever. He is simply radically pursuing the heart of God to become a leader, the leader that God created him to be. And so how does that look? Well, I mean, we can spend an hour on this. I would just simply say like, he has learned to have a purpose-driven life. He sacrifices and builds others up. Like that is the best kind of leader. He loves through sacrifice and he is building other people up. What did Jesus have as a leader that separated him from all other leaders, right? He was meek, he was humble, he was kind, he was compassionate. You want to know what he did best? He empowered the disciples to be leaders. The best husbands don't dominate. The best husbands don't, it's great to have vision. The best husbands empower their wives and their children to be the leaders that they were born to be. They just like empower and encourage everyone around them. That is the best kind of leader. Yeah. And your personal life, I just can't emphasize this enough. As a single guy, the most crucial and critical thing is that you have iron sharpening iron community. Like you guys are investing in each other. You're not just each other's cheerleaders, but you're challenging each other, right? That's what I lacked. I can tell you that because I lacked it and it deeply hurt me in my faith. And I would just say like, we're kind of obsessed with respect as men, but like a Proverbs man doesn't demand respect. He lives a life that earns respect by pouring himself out. Yeah. Like you really understand that your strength given to you as a man is not used to enslave or dominate. It's used to serve. Yeah. Your strength is given to you to serve. Okay. And then the last thing, I have to hit this one. Okay. As men, are blind spots.
Guys, we're so sorry.
We are so sorry.
Lovey and I apologize personally for the fact that you can only watch the rest of this podcast exclusive if you're in our Patreon community. So what should they do, Lovey?
They should go, they should go to patreon.com/heartofdating.
Come and join us on Patreon. It's a great way to support this podcast. And then you can hear the rest of this episode.
We'll put the link below for you. Love you. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.